Welcome to Fantasy Game Plan. I'm Reno97. This is my boy JoeyD from Jersey. I can't forget about our director right here, Crawdaddy. But hey guys, the preseason is over. It's time for some real football. But as you look at going into this new season tonight, the one thing I want you to definitely keep an eye open for, obviously, there may be some injuries that you may have sustained during the season, so keep an eye out for that. And then also, there may be some guys that may have gotten cut during those last preseason games. So make sure you find out those later round draft picks that you may have made. Keep an eye out for that too, because those guys may be joining other teams. Any thoughts, Joey?
And what happens with injuries too, Reno97, is that guys you pick as backups, sometimes they get elevated. Right. So, and sometimes in the case, Andre Brown just got hurt with the Giants.
Yeah.
David Wilson becomes that much more important. And for those guys who got David Wilson, thinking he might get maybe half the carries with Andre Brown, because Andre Brown's a talented running back for the New York Football Giants. Good team, by the way. But David Wilson now becomes a guy who will move up in the statistics for the year, maybe get 20 carries a game instead of those 15 carries. Guys like that. Guys like Jonathan Stewart, who might not be able to play this year now, we find out. Those guys who rolled the dice, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, took D'Angelo Williams, it's going to pay dividends for them as well, because you got D'Angelo Williams real late. Jonathan Stewart might be in the PUP list, but now they're saying he might not even play the whole season. So you got, like Reno97 saying, you got to keep up with injuries, you got to keep up with the flow of the game, and you got to do your research after the weeks are over to keep your lineups fresh. It means waiver wires. It means studying the free agents who are there in your league. It means anticipating injuries, guys that you think might get hurt, who's going to backup's going to be. We've talked about it. You got to know, you got to do your research, you got to put the time in, not just for draft prep that we talked about, but also during the season.
Let's talk about tonight's game, Baltimore at Denver.
Oh boy, the rematch. The rematch. Peyton Manning gets another crack at Baltimore. Baltimore won the Super Bowl last year.
Right.
They had to go through who? They went through Denver.
Yeah.
And a couple of bombs away, a couple of broken plays from the defensive backs. Denver would have been going. So tonight's going to be a big revenge game for Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's got a new toy on his team.
He does, man, and I see him really racking up some points for you guys. If Peyton Manning's your quarterback, he talked about Wes Welker coming on board.
Oh, yeah.
Big red zone guy. You can definitely see him probably getting some passes once, those short passes up the middle, huh?
I mean, with Eric Decker on the outside, Demaryius Thomas on the other side, you got Welker running around like it's going to be it could be video game numbers for Peyton Manning this year as far as statistics go, and Welker, and there's enough passes and stats to go around for all three, I think.
And don't forget about the other side of the ball, Baltimore. Ray Rice which last year he had huge numbers in fantasy. They're going to get a good dose of the run with Ray Rice, but who else do you think is real big on that other side of the ball?
I mean, you got Torrey Smith. He came out of nowhere last year. You've got Jacoby Jones, Dancing with the Stars. He's a talent. They have no tight end, so you got to think Rice is going to catch a couple more balls out of the backfield.
Yep.
Flacco still has a chip on his shoulder. Still has something to prove, even though he won the Super Bowl last year in dramatic fashion. Still has a chip on his shoulder. I'm interested to see how that defense responds with their leaders. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, they're all gone. So
True.
I think that Denver blows these guys out.
What about Atlanta to New Orleans, looking at Sunday?
Talk about video game numbers. Defense will not be an issue here because it's going to be offense. It should be a high-scoring game. You got Drew Brees on one side, Matt Ryan on the other side. You've got fantasy implications across the board. Darren Sproles. You got Marcus Colston, Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, Roddy White, Julio Jones. And talk about some new toys people have. Steven Jackson on the Atlanta Falcons this year.
I tell you, I see Steven doing some big things. He wants to definitely, put that fire under his feet and let everybody know that he's not done. And, hey, Drew Brees, a guy I played with also, and it was one of my top fantasy picks last year. I see that guy. It wouldn't be anything for him to get at least 4,000 yards again this year.
Steven Jackson, a Vegas guy too. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Near and dear to your heart. Let's talk about some new toys.
Okay.
You got Welker in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Steven Jackson in Atlanta. You know what else you got in Detroit? Got a guy named Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush is a guy that's going to be fun in that offense.
Yeah, good receiver.
Matt Stafford threw the ball over 730 times last year. Reggie Bush could catch over 100 passes this year and break their single-season record for catches for a running back.
Larry Centers.
Larry Centers.
Yeah.
101, I think it was.
Yeah, sure was.
Nice. Nice, Reno.
I'm doing my research,
Reno's on
man.
top of the research.
What about Green Bay at San Francisco?
Wow, that's a big one. You want to take this one, Joey?
Well, San Francisco's got world-class defense. I mean, they've really bolstered that defense. I don't think people remember who they got out there. They got Asamoah out there now, who's going back to the West Coast. He was an Oakland Raider, played awesome there.
Yep.
Came to Philly, just so-so. I think he had a hard time struggling with the system they ran in Philly. Back out west, San Fran is a Super Bowl favorite pick. So it's going to be interesting for Aaron Rodgers and the boys. With that rush that San Francisco has, and Green Bay's left side of the line hurting and out for the season, Beluga, I forget his name, but that line, they allowed Aaron Rodgers to get sacked over 45, 50 times last year. So it's going to be interesting. They're going to be in his face.
Right.
That's going to be an interesting game.
So the matchup would be, in this situation, would be Green Bay's offense versus San Fran's defense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What about the Giants at Dallas?
I don't want to talk about that.
This is a Giants guy, man. Can he actually?
I have no response. I have nothing to add to that game.
Nothing?
I will add this. Those of you who have David Wilson, you're going to see what he's going to be able to do on Sunday night.
Keep an eye on Cruz too. We know he was a little banged up, but will he have the little salsa in his dance again? Look at JoeyD over here, and see also what would be the other second option for Eli Manning. Getting the ball to him.
And I hate to say it, but this guy's going to be a beast this year, Dez Bryant. I don't think anybody can go toe-to-toe with Dez Bryant in the NFC East, and we're going to see that on Sunday night as well. Dez Bryant is going to be a factor all year.
Let's talk about some quarterbacks. Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick, Russell Wilson, Michael Vick. Who's going to have the best year out of those four guys?
I'm going Russell Wilson. I think what he has in that whole scheme is awesome. I think Golden Tate is going to step out this year and be one of his go-to targets. And then you got Lynch, great runner. I think I'm going with Russell. That's my pick.
Golden Tate, he always gets his Notre Dame guys in there, doesn't he? I don't know. Right now, Kaepernick is intriguing. He's lost some players. He doesn't have Crabtree.
Right.
You got Vick, who's going to be in an offense, and no one's really seen yet.
He's got to stay healthy.
He's got to stay healthy, but if he stays healthy, he could be the top 5 quarterback in the league. Cam Newton. I love Cam Newton. What I love about Carolina this year is their defense. Their defense. They've got a Giants guy now running the show as a GM there.
Gentlemen.
Giants mentality. Defense, defense, defense. The tackles, the ends. Kuechly in the middle. For you guys who drafted their defense in fantasy, probably drafted him late. That's gonna pay dividends for you guys. But I like Cam Newton this year. I like Cam Newton.
How about Schaub versus Rivers?
Ooh. I tell you, who Schaub has? Deandre Hopkins, a new toy for him.
That's right.
New toy.
Yeah.
To go along with Andre Johnson on the other side, it's going to be interesting. He's still got Arian Foster, world-class running back, behind him. Schaub's going to, and Owen Daniels running in the middle as a tight end.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about San Diego and Phillip Rivers this year. I really am.
Yeah, right. And you brought up DeAndre Hopkins. I see him being more of a Ty Hilton for Indianapolis from last year. What he did, I can see him being that same option for Schaub. Was that
you got Ty Hilton on your Christmas card list? Ty Hilton. We talked about names.
T.Y., right?
We talked about names.
T.Y., right?
I don't know anybody calls him Ty.
Okay, all right.
We'll give you a pass.
All right, thank you, man. I'm learning, guys. Bear with me out there, okay? All right, guys. Well, that's another edition of our fantasy game plan with me and JoeyD, and I can't forget the director back here.
I tell you, don't forget, though, follow the games. Go to a couple of websites I want to throw out there, you guys, for research. Pro Football Talk. I see Ronaldo on there all the time. Ex-player, it's in his nature.
I love it, man.
Rotoworld.com. Keep up with the players. Keep up with what's going on out there. You want to have success in fantasy football, you've got to keep up with what's going on during the season. You can't just wing it.
And if you have any questions, please feel free to go to @Reno97 or at
JoeyD NC, capital N, capital C.
All right, that's another edition, guys. See you next time.